Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how you can turn on lanterns or really any other lamps in Lightroom using the Radial filter. So a few weeks ago I've edited this picture of Paris, France and turned it into something like this, and you can see the overall picture is much warmer, etc. But the main thing that we're concentrating on today is these lanterns right here. I've turned them on, and today I'm just gonna explain how I did that. So let's start with the picture just as we saw before, just with the lanterns off. So it's actually not that difficult, it's just a little bit time consuming. So you can do that either with the adjustment brush or the radial filter. However, I really like the radial filter better, it's just much easier and I found it to work a little bit better. So I'm gonna grab a radial filter here, be sure that the feather is at 100, very important, and also be sure to invert the mask. And then you just want to drag a radial filter roughly the size of the lantern or the lamp over the lantern, and then what you want to do is first of all go plus exposure. Obviously lantern is much brighter when it's on, so you definitely have to go plus exposure. Now I found that around 3 full stops exposure works pretty good. Now you might use a little bit more or a little bit less, but a very important thing here is that the middle looks way brighter than kind of the outside, you know, so it looks like there's a light bulb inside. So I achieved that by going very far into the plus. If I just, for example, would go plus 1.5, you see it's kind of dim, it doesn't really look that great. So I'm gonna stick with plus 3 here. And another thing that you can do, and I definitely suggest you to do, is go into color and just add a little bit of orange. Now you have to decide how much saturation or which exact tone of orange you want to select for your own picture, but I'd give it quite a lot of saturation, so it really, you know, gives a very dramatic effect, and so you can actually see it. Now you can mix that with the color temperature, but I find that the color slider itself down here just works better, so I'm not gonna change anything there. You of course can also play around with these other sliders if you, for example, would like to change something else, like bringing up the highlights or bringing up the clarity. That can sometimes help to give it a little bit of a different look, but for now I might even just bring up the clarity a little bit, and I feel like the effect looks pretty good. So because we have the feather to 100, the actual plus exposure is much smaller than the filter looks right here. I'm going to go into the minus exposure here just to show you a little bit better. Just the middle of the radial filter gets dark and the outside doesn't really. So I'm gonna go back to plus exposure, and you just want to fine-tune that and make sure it looks good. Maybe make it a little bit smaller if there's a little bit too much spill of the light, and just, you know, fine-tune that until you like it. And now we really have a convincing look, and it really looks like there's a light bulb in there. So I might even actually bring up the color saturation of the oranges a little bit more. Yeah, I think that works even better. Then you would just want to right click duplicate and bring it over the next lantern. Obviously this one is much smaller, so I also want to make sure that the radial filter is a little bit smaller, and depending on the lantern, the position, you might have to bring down the saturation a little bit, or maybe even bring up or down the exposure slider slightly, so it all looks natural and very even. Because if you go there at night, obviously most lanterns will look the same. There's not like one is very orange, one is very bluish, and another one is brighter than another. You know, it's all very even, so you want to make sure that you sell that to your viewer, so they don't even notice that you know, you did that with the radial filter. You want to make sure that it looks like you went there while the lanterns were on. So another one here, this one doesn't need as much exposure, maybe make that even a little bit smaller, and maybe add a little bit of saturation here. And yeah, that is pretty much it. That's all there is to it. And you really can make an amazing picture. You can create so much interest and definitely turn a boring image into an absolutely beautiful and stunning picture, of course combined with other adjustments. So that was really it for this video. Really short, but I just wanted to show you because I got requested that video quite a lot. And I really think it's an amazing technique to do. So thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video and it helped you out, please give me a thumbs up. That definitely helps me out a ton. And also be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. Take care and keep taking awesome pictures.